why teachers are quitting. Stick around to the end, you'll find out. So let's explore the alarming reasons why teachers are leaving the profession in record numbers.
I have to speak to, as a teacher of 24 years, this being my last year, I'm retiring. I'm done. And I'm done because of one word: parents. And I am going to speak for teachers who can't speak because they're still in the profession. Education has changed so much that it is unbearable. And that's why there's a teacher shortage. I have seen education change in 24 years, and it hasn't changed for the better. And a lot of it has to do with parenting or lack thereof. Parents, when you send your child to school, they need pens, they need pencils. If they don't have them, please ask me or ask the school. Parents, when you send your children to school, yes, they do need their books. Yes, they need a notebook. If they do not have any of those things, please ask your teacher or please ask the school. Bottom line is this: teachers are not just teachers. The amount of time that I spend teaching is, let's see, if I'm lucky, maybe 20 minutes within a class period. There's so much other stuff going on every minute, every second of the class period. It starts off as soon as the kids come in the room. There's always self-regulation that I have to do. There's always redirections that I have to do. There's always repeating the same information, even though it's written on the overhead, even though it's clearly spelled as clear as it can be in the written language. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And even after I ask for clarifying questions, which I don't get any, there are kids who are constantly coming in late, which disrupts the classroom. The phone is ringing because a child needs to go to see the counselor because they are dealing with whatever issues. I get that, and I understand it happens. There are interruption because a child is leaving because the parents are taking the child out of school to go somewhere. There are interruptions in the day because I have to fill out an independent contract for a child who's going away for a month to Italy or to India. So that means I have to make special lesson plans for that child, which they don't do, by the way. There are interruptions when you have the counselors coming into the classroom and asking to take out a certain student. There are interruptions in the classroom because there are so many students with special needs, and again, I am not faulting them for that. All I'm telling you is that a lot of extra energy goes into students who have special needs, and I'm the only person in the room. There isn't a teacher's aide. There isn't another special ed person in here with me, and I have 33 to 34 students. The interruptions are insurmountable, so trying to teach is virtually impossible. We as teachers have become babysitters, and all we do is we're putting out fires every 2 to 3 minutes, and that's not an over-exaggeration. That is the truth. So, that and many other reasons, I'm retiring after 24 years. I have had it. I can no longer deal with the new type of parent and the new type of child that is a product of the parent that I am trying to teach. Many of these kids do not care. And they don't care because their parents don't care. And if their parents care, then I guess I would see kids that care. But I don't. So teaching has become a dying profession. I, for one, have 24 years of experience, and I am leaving. I plan to stay for another, 10 years, not doing any more doing it anymore. Nope. So another experienced teacher bites the dust.
So teachers all over the country are quitting their jobs at a rate that we've really never seen before. So I asked my audience of predominantly teachers, about 2 million of them, why teachers are leaving the profession, and here's what they came up with. According to the feedback that I got, one of the top reasons why teachers are leaving the profession is lack of support from administrators. Now, what that means is lack of support from principals, superintendents, and other jobs that are like that in education. Now, this is something that isn't groundbreaking news. Bad bosses are oftentimes the reason why so many people quit their job anyway, regardless of the profession. But in education, it is a story that is as old as time. When we talk about teachers saying that they don't feel supported, really what teachers are looking for is a principal or any sort of administrator that will have their back. They will have their back when it comes to talking to parents. They'll have the teachers' back when it comes to classroom discipline. That is what teachers are really looking for. Reason number 2 why teachers are leaving the profession is the lack of pay. When you look at the amount of money a teacher can make over their career, it is so much lower than comparing other jobs that require a 4-year college degree. So teachers see that and they realize this might not be a great investment, and then they leave. Now, I'm not saying that this job is all about the money. There's a lot of really great things that come with the job. However, you have to provide for your family. At the end of the day, you gotta be making money so you can live in the house that you want and have the lifestyle that you want. Now, there are parts of the country where teachers do get paid fairly well. You look at the coast, East Coast, West Coast, those jobs do have quite a bit higher pay scales. Now, the flip side to that is saying, well, the cost of living is higher there. Yes, absolutely. But relative to other jobs, it is a decent paying job. But you look at the amount of work that teachers have to put in and the stress that they are under, it just isn't worth it for a lot of teachers. The mental and emotional stress that teachers go through and the pay that comes with it sometimes just isn't what they want. And that piggybacks perfectly into my next point, feeling burnt out. Now, teacher burnout is so common. Even for me as a teacher, I've had so many days where I feel so burnt out. So what is teacher burnout? It's kind of like other jobs where teachers just feel like they don't have the desire to teach. They're tired, they're emotionally exhausted, they're physically exhausted, and they have a hard time processing and managing emotions. When you're a teacher and you have to work with kids all the time constantly, it is really challenging to keep your emotions intact. Now, if you've never worked with kids before, you might be thinking, well, you signed up for that job, you should be good at that. Yeah, I think teachers usually are pretty good at managing their emotions. However, teachers are humans. And there's a lot of teacher guilt that also exists. Teachers feel really guilty when they lose their patients or when they are not having the best lesson that they know they can give their students. That is something that is really, really common for teachers to increase their burnout. One of the things that increase teacher burnout is poor mental health. Teachers really struggle with their mental health. This is because they are pouring in so much emotion and energy to the classroom and trying to help their kids and provide for their students. And then they just get run down and their mental health starts to drain. Another reason why so many teachers are quitting is because of behaviors in the classroom. I could dive into all the reasons why we're having more classroom management issues and behaviors in the classroom, but I'm not going to do that. I just want to talk about the fact at hand that so many teachers are leaving the profession because we're seeing classroom behaviors like we've never seen before. We've seen so many more students become violent in the classroom. We've been seeing so many more students that think it's okay to swear at teachers and disrespect teachers, and it's wearing on educators. Now, you can look at the extreme behaviors in the classroom. That is a reason why teachers are quitting. But there's also the low-level behaviors as to why teachers are quitting. If you look at just the amount of students who no longer feel like their education is important to them, it's so many students that feel this way. And I've talked to so many predominantly high school teachers who talk about how they've had so many more students that openly don't care about their schooling. They don't care. They want to sit on their phones all of class, and they have no desire to do school because they don't find it important. Now, is that the outlier? Maybe. I mean, there's a lot of great students that are in the classroom every single day. So many kids are crushing it. But the fact is, there are a lot of students that no longer care about their education, and that's for a number of different reasons. And teachers are struggling with that. And if you look at your students, they're sitting there on their phones or have AirPods in, that is not motivating for a teacher. And
we had to take a test to rate our level of whiteness because our African American, our Black kids were struggling. So we had to take a look at ourselves and do a test of what our measure of whiteness was. And then based on our numerical data from that level of whiteness, we had to stand in a circle. I really just feel like, and I am a woman of integrity, so I took my number and I stood and I went, wait a minute, I teach remedial math classes. It just was so difficult to be standing in this circle to rate my level of whiteness because my discipline referrals in my lower level math classes, I had a higher percentage of African American Black kids, so I was being measured on that I wasn't as effective as a teacher with them because I was white. And yet I love these kids, and these kids want to learn. I was measured on my number of referrals, my tardies. I was told to decrease the number of detentions that were issued for a certain race that showed up late because culturally it's acceptable for them. And that just, it boggled my brain. So I should not teach them what professionalism is on showing up on time. We need to teach those core principles on what it means to be a responsible citizen. And DEI didn't do that. It's not doing it. And some of the schools are still holding on to it.
From lack of administrative support to parents failing to prepare their children for school and the growing influence of anti-white DEI policies, the challenges teachers face are more complex than ever before. You remember when public schools would swat kids with a wooden paddle when they misbehaved? Yeah. Your parents would support the school's punishment. You knew when you arrived home you were going to get it all over again. That worked. It's a shame, but those days are long gone. If you enjoyed this video, share, like, subscribe, and leave a comment. What are your thoughts on this? I appreciate your time. I'll see you soon.